Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker. I've got the some of the more dressier shirts on today. Someone asked me, someone had pointed out recently that they had been watching previous episodes, and I kind of toned down a little bit. I'd gotten into the t-shirts and said, "What happened to the button-ups?" And I thought, well, we'll go back and mix it up a little bit. So today we're going to be looking at a tea, and as usual. I do teas as often as possible in one take so that you see every aspect of the tea, you see it run through the full obstacle course, and that's what we're going to be doing right now. So I've got my tea. This is a pu'er that we're going to be looking at, and I'm going to use my traditional and very standardized. The other thing, talking about using standardized equipment, it looks repetitive, but also gives every tea a fair shake, you know, because you're looking at things in the similar way, close to the same as possible. So I'm getting out enough, and because I've got a kind of a small package here, I'm using my fingers and I'm putting in enough to kind of cover the bottom of my gaiwan here. I'm going to set this over here for just a moment, and I'm going to add my boiling water. It's been brought to a boil and it's been cooling now for about a minute and a half or so. But that should be enough tea, enough pu'er to give us a sense of what's going on here. A little bit more water, because I do want enough so that when I put my lid on, yeah, I've got a little bit floating above the lid, creates a seal. And let me get a towel while I'm thinking about it. There we go. Let me set that towel there. And set this off to the side as well, kind of carefully. Slide that over. And then I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about this tea. This tea is from GrandTea. This is a 2005. Menghai is the manufacturer, the processor. It's a traditional stored. I can tell you a little bit more information about this tea. This is a recipe, 8582. Now, 8582 can give the indication that this was a harvest of 1985, and I guess my understanding is, and I'm still trying to clarify, but my understanding is that the original blending of these kinds of leaves, this recipe, was developed in or around 1985, and that this recipe is then repeated, so that what was likely happened was that this 2005 was actually harvested in 2003 or 2004 and then pressed into a cake in 2005 using the recipe or blend of leaves that was originally developed in 1985. Therefore, the number 8582. This is a Sheng pu'er, and as we said, this was a traditional stored, so it's going to be higher levels of humidity. Just off the top of my head, I'm going to guess that we're going to be getting kind of more earthy, musty type smells coming off of this. So, let's confirm that, I should say, by getting into this dry leaf, and then we'll talk about the wet leaf later. And speaking of wet leaf, that actually does look pretty good. I'm going to stop here before we get into the dry leaf, so let me hold off on that and give this a pour, because that's looking rich. Pu'ers, if you are newer to pu'er, careful here, because these are pretty strong and you don't want to overdo it too much on the first steep. That's going to be plenty strong enough, but maybe too strong for some people out there. But there it is, and we'll set that there. We'll get lots of rich flavors and things to talk about there. But yes, this tea, as we said, before I go too much further, I almost forgot, 100 grams available for $19.80. So that's just under $20, and that's for 100 grams, so it's about 3.5 ounces. You could go on to a full cake if you're thinking a gift for yourself or others, or a possible type of investment. Raw pu'ers often age well. So let's talk a little bit about this dry leaf now. That's 2005, so it's been stored away for about 5 years. And you are getting a little bit of the musty smell. It's fairly light. It's not that developed yet. A little bit of like a dried porcini mushroom type smell, just a little bit. So let's talk about this. Dry leaf a little further. This came off of a cake because you do still see chunks like this where it had been pressed together, and inside this you see the occasional needle or bud type of fuzzy tip there. You do see some darker, you see some kind of seal brown, grayish brown type, a lot of those kind of colors. Every once in a while, occasionally you'll see a lighter, kind of like a milk chocolate type brown color there as well. Leaves here, you do get what look like to be some medium size, say 2-inch or so in length. You do see some that appear to go a little further than that as well. So that kind of gives us a little bit of indication about our leaf. We'll be able to look more at our wet leaf and tell more from there. So let's go ahead and put this away so that we can talk a little bit about the wet leaf. Give it a smell here. Lots of moist, earthy type smells coming off. If you smell from the lid, you actually get a little bit of a, how should I say, there's something kind of, how should I explain this? I remember going into people's homes, something that was kind of old, musty, old, dusty type smells coming off of couches and old carpet and some of that kind of smell. Not so much mildewy, but just for lack of a better word, old. Okay. Looking at these leaves, let's talk about that for just a minute. Okay, for example, we got here a fairly large leaf. Some thickness to it, some coarseness to it. It's not the finest leaf, but for a leaf this size, it's pretty tender actually. Not that thick, leathery type feel. It's most of a leaf. You don't necessarily see the full rounded edges there. So set that there. What else do we have? You get little pieces of twig here and there, so I'll kind of represent that there. Let's see what else. Another large leaf. I think this is going to give us a good indication. Again, our leaves have begun to. This one actually still hasn't fully unfurled, but our leaves are lightening up in color. They're a bit more of a brownish olive drab, I would say. Okay, but that's a nice, gymongous size leaf there. Okay, and then we do have some smallers. I'm not going to go pulling those out, fishing those out too much. What else? Leaf portions. I'm not necessarily getting most of a leaf, not necessarily all the leaf every time. Actually, most of them are not complete. There's a tip or something missing, ragged edges there. So that really kind of covers the wet leaf there. These are large sizes there that you often associate, or I often associate with a Yunnan style. Again, Pu'ers, the home of Pu'ers is Yunnan province. Now let's go ahead and talk about this liquor. Okay, first off, I guess I should. Some of that old house smell that I mentioned in the wet leaf coming out here as well. Combined with like a boiled pork fat. Not so much musty or earthy either, really. You're getting a nice, you're getting a kind of a rich, almost like a black tea type color, red tea type of color there. Let's give it a taste. This tea is, first off, I'd say this tea is fairly nuanced. Towards the front, in the initial front of the sip on the tip of my tongue, a little bit of a salty, kind of savory aspect there. As it hit towards the middle and the back, it became smooth and very silken kind of texture to it. Then after you swallow, you begin to get those pools of kind of sweet saliva building up right actually under your tongue. You smack around and it begins to kind of develop, spread throughout the mouth. And with that, there's something kind of, there's some ripe fruit like an apricot, like a peach, yeah, a little bit of peach. So think about, kind of reddish orange fruits. And that's ever so subtle there. At first I thought this was going to be, on the front of the tongue I thought this was going to be watery, but actually it builds up and becomes quite smooth. So this is either an indication of the recipe or the age of this tea and the mellowing that's taking place, or a combination of all of those elements there. I'll give it one more shot here. Really what defines, if you were to talk about flavors of this tea, what defines this tea is more towards the back and the aftertaste. There's a sense that you have just swallowed some cocoa powder. I mean, there is something, again, something sweet, something faintly, like I said, bittersweet type chocolate there. Again, like you've just finished eating a piece of bittersweet chocolate. So that's a positive note. So when I look at this tea as a whole, I'm going to give this tea, I'm quite impressed with this tea actually, so I'm going to have to give it probably a 91. It's got lots of nuance, it's got lots of character there, because it's a raw pour that's going to age and develop and even build up into more. This one's definitely worth trying out, and as I say it, a 91 may be a little too low, so I'm going to bump that up, and I'm going to say 92. So it's something to consider if you are, again, for yourself, for investment, for enjoying with friends or family. And come back and join us at Walker Tea Review, where we look at these and other teas that could suit you this holiday season or year-round.